Hello, how are you? Hello, how are you? Hello, how are you? How are you today? It is Miss Laura from Bartlesville Public Library here for weekly virtual story time. We are going to start with an Easter story. Besides the one Easter book, I didn't really stick with a theme this week. I just pulled some fun books that I thought I'd like to read today. Is that good with you? Give me a thumbs up. All right. So we're going to start with our Easter story called Ollie's Easter Eggs by Olivier Dunray. Ollie's Easter Eggs. I see a red egg. I see a blue egg. I see a yellow egg. What else? Is there a green egg? No, but I do see a purple egg. No, over here. This is Gossie and Gertie. They are gathering eggs. This is Boo Boo and Petey. They are gathering eggs too. This is Ollie. He is hopping. Gossie dyes her egg bright red. Gertie dyes her egg bright blue. Boo Boo dyes her egg bright purple. Petey dyes his egg bright yellow. Ollie stares at the brightly colored eggs. I want eggs, he shouts. Gossie hides her egg in the green grass. My egg, whispers Ollie. He rolls the red egg out of sight. Gertie hides her egg in the yellow straw. My egg, whispers Ollie. He rolls the blue egg out of sight. Boo Boo hides her egg in the red tulips. My egg, whispers Ollie. He rolls the purple egg out of sight. Petey hides his egg under the green turtle. My egg, whispers Ollie. He rolls the yellow egg out of sight. Ollie hides all the eggs under his blanket. Gossie and Gertie hunt for the Easter eggs. They look in the tulips. They look under the turtle. Did I get that in there? Boo Boo and Petey hunt for the Easter eggs. They look in the grass. They look in the straw. Gossie and Gertie scoot past Ollie, searching and hunting. Boo Boo and Petey scurry past Ollie, hunting, searching. And what they find? Look, Ollie says, 4 small goslings stop and stare. Easter eggs, shouts Ollie. That's the end. That little Ollie is kind of mischievous, isn't he? All right. Now we're going to read a book by Charles G. Shaw called It Looked Like Spilt Milk. This is kind of a puzzle book. We have to figure out what some of these shapes are. This book was written a long time ago, like probably when your grandparents were little kids. Sometimes it looked like spilt milk, but it wasn't spilt milk. Sometimes it looked like a rabbit. See the rabbit? But guess what? It wasn't a rabbit. Sometimes it looked like what? What does that look like? I think it looks like a bird, but it wasn't a bird. Sometimes it looked like what? A tree? It wasn't a tree. Sometimes it looked like an ice cream cone. But it wasn't an ice cream cone. Sometimes it looked like a flower. I think it looks like a dancing flower, but it wasn't a flower. Sometimes it even looked like a pig, but it wasn't a pig. Sometimes it looked like a birthday cake, but it wasn't a birthday cake. What are we looking at? Sometimes it looked like a sheep, but it wasn't a sheep. Sometimes it looked like a great horned owl. Woo, woo. But it wasn't. It was not a great horned owl. What does it look like here? A mitten? But you know it wasn't a mitten. Sometimes it looked like a squirrel, but it wasn't a squirrel. Sometimes it looked like an angel. Is it an angel? No, it's not an angel. Sometimes it looked like spilt milk, but it wasn't spilt milk. It was just a cloud in the sky. Now, spring is the perfect time of year to go outside and look up, or maybe lay down in the yard and look up and just watch the clouds. And you'll see all sorts of things in the clouds as they move around. They look like so many different things. It's really fun to watch. Let's see. Something in that book made me think of a song. The sheep. Let's sing Baa Baa Black Sheep, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and the alphabet song. And listen as we sing, and you'll notice something, okay? We're going to do Baa Baa Black Sheep, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and the ABCs all in a row. Baa Baa Black Sheep, have you any wool? Yes, sir, 3 bags full. 1 for the master, 1 for the dame, 1 for the little boy who lives down the lane. Baa Baa Black Sheep, have you any wool? Yes, sir, 3 bags full. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now I know my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me? Do you notice something that's the same about all three of those songs? It sounds just the same, they just have different words. So the tune of the song is called the melody. The melody is just the same in all three songs. The words in a song are called the lyrics, and they have different lyrics. Okay? Try that again with your family and see if you could tell how they all sound the same, and see if you can think of other songs that sound like a different song with just different words. All right. This is kind of a funny old book I found. It was written by Larry Weinberg, and the pictures are done by Randy Cecil. Do you ever forget things? I do. I think everybody forgets things sometimes. This is the story of the Forgetful Bears. There's a nice springtime pattern on the inside of the book. The Forgetful Bears. One spring morning, Mrs. Forgetful woke up and went to the window. "What a beautiful day," she said. "Wake up, everyone. Let's go to the country and have a picnic." "Hooray!" shouted Sally and Tommy Forgetful. "We'll make the lemonade." They ran to the kitchen and squeezed lots of lemons. They added sugar, they added water, and soon the lemonade was ready. But they forgot about the picnic and drank it all themselves. "I'll wake up Grandpa," said Mr. Forgetful. But he forgot where Grandpa's room was and walked into a closet. There on the shelf was his bowler hat. "Just what I'm looking for," he said, and he put it on. Then he closed the door behind him and forgot to come out. Soon Mrs. Forgetful was ready to leave. "All right, everybody," she called. "Let's go." But she forgot where the front door was. Instead, she opened the door to the closet. "Oh, there you are," said Miss... Oh, wrong voice. "Oh, there you are," said Mr. Forgetful, who was standing inside. "Have you forgotten that we're going on a picnic?" At last, the four Forgetfuls found their way out of the house. They piled into their car and drove off. Suddenly, Mrs. Forgetful cried out, "Oh, turn back around, I forgot the food." Mr. Forgetful headed back for town, but he forgot what street they lived on and couldn't find the house. Finally, Mr. Forgetful suggested they look for their house on foot. They walked up one street and down another. "There's our house," cried Tommy Forgetful. "No, our house is red," said Sally Forgetful. I thought it was blue," said Mr. Forgetful. "Well, maybe we've moved," said Mrs. Forgetful. "I'm tired. Let's go back to the car." But where was the car? Nobody could remember. Tommy Forgetful had a bright idea. "Let's split up," he said. "Each bear will walk in a different direction. The first bear to find the car will honk the horn and let the rest of us know where it is." And so the four Forgetful bears went their separate ways. Oh my, I wonder how this is going to turn out. Can you guess? Mrs. Forgetful walked down a street where there were many stores. A supermarket sign said, "Big sale today." She forgot about the car and hurried inside to shop. Sally Forgetful walked down another street where there was a park. She forgot about the car and sat down to rest. Tommy Forgetful came to a bus stop. He forgot about the car, and what do you think he did? He hopped onto the bus. Mr. Forgetful kept walking and walking. He forgot about the car and walked straight out of town. Meanwhile, Grandpa Forgetful, remember him? He woke up. He rubbed his eyes and got out of bed. "Where is everybody?" he shouted. He went outside to look, and there across the street was the family car. "What luck," said Grandpa, and he drove off to find the other Forgetfuls. Soon he saw Sally Forgetful asleep on a bench. "Poor child, she's tired," he said to himself. He stopped and carried Sally to the car. A little while later, Grandpa saw Mrs. Forgetful leaving the supermarket. "Poor woman, she sure is loaded down," he said. He took some of her packages and helped her into the car. Well, Grandpa stopped for a light and saw Tommy Forgetful. "Poor boy, why is he riding the bus?" Grandpa honked the horn. "Beep, beep! Come with us, Tommy." So Tommy hopped off the bus and slid in next to Sally. "Where are we going?" Tommy asked. "Well, it's such a nice day," Grandpa said. "How would you like to go for a picnic in the country?" "What a wonderful idea," said Mrs. Forgetful. "Why didn't I think of that?" So they drove out into the country. Along the way, they spotted Mr. Forgetful walking very slowly. Grandpa stopped the car. "Poor man, you look tired. Hop in," he said. "Thank you," Mr. Forgetful said, "but I never accept rides from strangers." "We're your family," shouted Mrs. Forgetful. "I'm your wife. This is your son. This is your daughter. And this is your father." "Well, in that case," said Mr. Forgetful, "I guess I will get in the car. But don't tell me your names. I'm sure they will come to me." So they drove to a lovely spot by the river. They made sandwiches from the groceries Mrs. Forgetful had bought, and they all had a wonderful time, which they never forgot. Oh, my. All right, one more story by Robert Munsch. Robert Munsch is famous for one very sweet story called Love You Forever. And then most of his other stories are really, really silly. And this is one of the silly ones. The book is illustrated by Michael Marchenko. This is called Smelly Socks. Ew! Do your socks ever get smelly? Or do you have like grown-ups or big brothers and sisters in your house? Their socks get even smellier. Smelly socks. When Tina wanted new socks, her mom took her to the only store in town. "This store only has black socks," said Tina. "Can we please go across the river and get some really good socks?" "We can't drive right across the river because there is no bridge here," said Tina's mom. "You know it is a long, long, long way to the only bridge. And besides, we don't even have a car." So Tina went to her grandfather and said, "Can you please take me across the river in your boat? I want to buy some really good socks." "Well, the motor isn't working on the boat," said her grandfather. "Row," said Tina. "We can row. I will row and you can sit in the back of the boat." "You will row?" said her grandfather. "Yes," said Tina. "Rowing is easy." So Tina got in the boat and rowed slowly. Splash, splash, splash. And the boat went in slow circles. Swish, swish, swish. Then Tina rowed fast. Splash, 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 splash. and the boat went in fast circles. Swish, 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 swish. "This boat has forgotten how to row," said Tina. "You sit in the back and tell me what to do," said her grandfather. So Tina sat in the back and told her grandfather how to row, and her grandfather rowed all the way across the river. Then they walked all the way through the town to the big sock store. At the store, Tina tried on socks that were too big, socks that were too little, socks that were too blue, and socks that were too pink. Tina tried on millions and millions of socks. Finally, she found a perfect pair of red, yellow, and green socks. Then, since it was almost time for dinner, Tina and her grandfather ran back to the boat, and this time the boat sort of remembered how to row. Tina rowed round and round and round until they got to the other side. When they got back, Tina ran home and yelled, "Socks, socks, wonderful socks. These are the best socks I have ever seen in my life. Grandpa rowed me all the way across the river to get these socks. I am never going to take them off." "Never?" said Tina's mother. "Never," said Tina. "Uh-oh," said Tina's mother. So Tina wore her socks for a long time. She wore them for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 whole days. Her mother said, "Tina, I know you love those socks. Just let me wash them really quick. They'll start to smell if you don't get them washed." "Socks, socks, wonderful socks," said Tina. "I am never going to take them off." After Tina wore her socks for 10 more days, the kids at school said, "Tina, what a smell! Shooey, change your socks." "Socks, socks, wonderful socks," said Tina. "I am never going to take them off." After Tina wore her socks for 10 more days, she's been wearing these socks for a month now. A whole flock of Canada geese flew over her house and dropped right out of the sky from the smell. 2 moose walked through her yard and fell over from the smell. Ducks, raccoons, and squirrels fell over when she walked to school. Finally, even a skunk fell over from the smell of Tina's socks. Tina's friends decided to do something. They all came to her house and knocked on the door. Blam, 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 blam. When Tina opened the door, they grabbed her and carried her to the river. Then they held their noses and took off her socks. Some of the kids held Tina, and some of the kids washed the socks. Scrub, 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 scrub. All the fish in the river floated up to the top and acted like they were dead. The kids washed some more. Scrub, 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 scrub. All the beavers ran out of the river and went to live with Tina's grandfather. They washed some more. Scrub, 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 scrub. Far down the river, people said, "Hey, how come the river smells like dirty socks?" Finally, the socks were clean. "Wow," said Tina. "They look nicer when they're clean." "Wow," said Tina. "They smell nicer when they're clean." "Wow," said Tina. "They feel nicer when they're clean." Tina put on the socks and said, "I am going to wear clean socks from now on." The beavers left her grandfather's house and went back into the river. The Canada geese got up off the ground and flew away. The fish decided that they were not dead after all and jumped and splashed in the river. Tina went to her mom and said, "My socks are nice and clean, and I think it would be very nice if you took me to town to get me a nice new red, yellow, and green shirt." "Promise to wash it?" asked her mom. "Nah," said Tina. "If I wait long enough, the kids at school will wash it for me." Well, this page is marked on, but it looks like the kids are throwing Tina into the river with her dirty shirt. That's the end. Why don't we sing Row, Row, Row Your Boat? Like Tina and her grandfather rowed the boat to the sock store. Ready? Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Now rock, rock, rock your boat gently down the stream. If you see a crocodile, don't forget to scream. Snap, snap. Row, row, row your boat quickly to the shore. If you see a lion, don't forget to roar. Roar! Old lady can't roar anymore. Let me hear you roar. Roar. Let's see. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Wearily, 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 snuggle up and dream. That's the end. Okay, I think our craft celebration activity packet next week is going to be about unicorns. I know a lot of us like unicorns. I don't have one to show you, but I'll show you at next week's story time, and you can come pick one up at the library. So thanks for joining me, guys. I'll see you next week.